Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Black Ops 6 Warzone is here, and I know you're asking, what should I be dropping in with? What are the go-to guns right now? And today I wanted to go through and break down 5 initial starter meta loadouts. Some paired around overkill, so you have a solid primary and secondary. Others built around gunfighter, where you have one main primary with 8 attachments that goes absolutely nuts, focusing solely on the best of the best weapons that we've detailed and that we know about so far. Obviously, there's a lot of testing that's still to be done, and we're going to learn more and more in the coming days and weeks. They're also going to be updating and adjusting and tuning things in various different ways, perks, weapons, attachments, all sorts of stuff like that in the coming days and weeks as well. So as that happens, I'll be covering it all right here on the channel alongside all the need to know meta details and everything else going on in COD. So if you want to guarantee you're always up to date, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications. Right around 57% of viewers watching are not subs, so if that's you, I'd love to have you join us on the road to 1 million. And if you enjoy the video as we go through and dive into the absolute best loadouts for Black Ops 6 Warzone, a like rating would be seriously appreciated as well. But first up, let's briefly talk perks and equipment, because this is going to be the same on every single loadout here today. So obviously you have your dedicated melee slot. Use whatever melee you want there. It's totally up to you. I just had the Black Ops 6 knife. For my tactical, I've been running smokes initially here. They're still just as good as they were before in terms of providing instantaneous concealment. They're great for trying to res or rotate. They're the answer for everything. That said, I do think stim shots are a great option as well in a lot of cases. Even things like flashbangs and concussions are pretty good too. For my lethal, I'm still going for throwing knives on the finishes, although I do really like the combat axe as well. It's a ton of fun to go back and forth with each of those. I also think obviously some of the standard things like Semtexes, the mollies and whatnot are also very good. C4 is even decent right now too. So you got options there for sure, depending on if you're playing big map or resurgence. Perks is a little bit weird so far, since obviously we got some of these weird ones that are showing up early, through the festive frenzy event and everything. But as of now, I'm rocking dexterity in perk 1, which is reduced weapon motion when jumping, sliding, and diving. I find that to be super clutch there just for movement. Quick fix, I'm really enjoying, although sprinter is really good too. Can tack sprint indefinitely, basically just infinite tack sprint there. I like that a lot, but I also really like quick fix, where I get that regen started as well. But I think both of those are great. Then also gung ho is really good, although I like a lot of options in perk 3. Like obviously ghost is great. I think tempered is solid. Alertness is good too. So there's definitely things you can mess around with and see what works well for you in game, but that's sort of what I've been running here. But now let's focus solely on weapons, right? So I do have overkill set up on this class. We got our primary of the LR762, which can one-shot headshot, and then the Tanto SMG. Crazy good pairing here. Tanto is great for sniper support, and the LR762 being a one-shot sniper means this thing is crazy good. So initially, first up here, because I am using overkill, obviously I only have 5 attachments available on this setup, and I go for the suppressor. Straight up, just keeping me off the radar. When I shoot, I'm not going to show up there. That's obviously important. So unless the enemies get a UAV, I'm going to be stealthy, right? I also go for the long barrel. Why is that? Well, with this, we end up having an 85-meter range. That means we can one-shot within 85 meters. That is phenomenal for what we're going to be playing, especially here on Area 99, on Resurgence in the coming days. It's even decently viable on big map as well. So that's definitely going to be a go-to there for sure. It's a little bit slower, but it is what it is. I also go for the quick draw grip. This is going to help out with ADS speed. Gives it a little bit of a boost there. We're up to a 520. That's not the fastest, but you're going to have to live with that. For what it's worth, it does hurt flinch resistance, and something like ergonomic would also help out with ADS speed, but do flinch resistance as well. And it's not going to be as fast. Hence why I'm just going for the quick draw grip with that. I also go for the target laser. I kind of been back and forth on this. Basically, when you ADS with this, it's going to be a lot more accurate there essentially. And unfortunately, I'm kind of crutching to this right now, honestly. Like, I've played without this and I was like, it's a noticeable difference in accuracy when I'm kind of quick scoping or trying to get a quick shot on target. So I ended up using this. I don't think maybe this is something everyone would have to use if you get really comfortable with how snipers behave in general, or if you're in a scope for a long period of time, you could switch this out for something else if you wanted to, but I'm rocking that for now. And then rapid fire. Typically I wouldn't, because this is going to hurt your velocity, but 782 works for our effective damage range. Again, not super necessary if you're playing it a little bit more relaxed, but I like being able to get those faster shots off, so I run that on there. But you could always switch this over to overpressured and get an even better velocity. You'd be up over 1,000 there, so that'd be really good too if you wanted to switch to that instead. But yeah, overall, this is a really good sniper setup. I've been loving the feel of this. Then you paired this with the Tanto Tanto, which has one of the best TTKs and ranges for an SMG, and you're kind of set here. So again, suppressor straight up just keeping us off the radar there. Ranger foregrip is phenomenal, has some horizontal control so the weapon's easier, but then also better sprinting movement speed, so you're more aggressive when you have this out and you're running around. Extended mag 2, pretty basic here. 50 round extended mag works great. Ergonomic rear grip for the better ADS speed, the better slide to fire, and the better dive to fire as well, so we're way more aggressive with that. Then I go for the balanced stock, which ends up being better strafe, better general ADS strafe, better movement, and better hip fire movement as well. So again, way more aggressive. This thing is run and gun, easy to use, and works great when paired with a sniper. Next up here, we got another sniper setup and a different pairing this time. We got the Frostline, which can also one-shot headshot since it's bolt action, and I paired this with the Jackal, which is another fantastic secondary option here. So another good sniper SMG combo. So as far as the Frostline goes, it's going to be a relatively similar setup here. Again, I got the suppressor on there to keep me off the radar. The long barrel in this case is again extending that damage range. We're out to 73 meters with this. Now this is a much more aggressive sniper than the 7.62. It's definitely more like a Swiss or a car, whereas the 7.62 is kind of like an HDR or an AX50, if you will. So 73 meters is still going to be really, really good there. I also go for the quick draw riser. The comb actually ends up replacing the rear grip here, but this is still going to help out that ADS speed all the same, so still pretty solid there for just quick scoping purposes. Target laser yet again for that better accuracy when you first zoom in, and then rapid fire once more. But if you want to switch on over to overpressured, you have just over 1,000 velo instead of a 748. You can definitely get by with 748 just fine. You just have to pay a little bit more attention to the bullet drop and the bullet lead, but all things considered, if you're aggressive sniping with this thing, it is a ton of fun, and I've seen a lot of clips already going crazy with the Frostline. And then for the Jackal, surprise, surprise, this thing was crazy good in the beta, it was crazy good in BO6 launch, and now it's good here in Warzone 2. Suppressor on here yet again. Reinforced barrel extends out our range and our velocity, so we got a 12.6 meter range for our fastest TTK and a 662 velo, which is totally good for an SMG there. Ranger foregrip obviously helping out with our general horizontal control and our sprinting move speed yet again. Extended mag 2 gives us a 50 round extended mag, and then also balanced stock again for all the movement benefits that ends up offering. You combine all that, you get another super aggressive, easy to use, and very versatile SMG. Hey everyone, quick reminder, if you're looking to stay hydrated and energized while grinding out Black Ops 6 and Warzone here, look no further than G Fuel. If you're grinding out camos, leveling up, checking out the new season 1 content, whatever the case is, and you're looking to stay energized, G Fuel has you covered with their tubs and their cans. And if you're just simply looking to stay hydrated throughout the day, they've got you covered there as well with their hydration formula. Best of all, regardless of what you're picking up on the G Fuel site, code Immortal has you covered with that nice discount. Toss that in the checkout and save yourself some money. So if you're interested, link for that will be down in the description below. Now our next 3 loadouts are all based around gunfighter setup. So with these, I end up having 8 attachments on every primary, but we don't have a true secondary. It's just a pistol here. So either with these, you'll want to buy your second loadout and get another true primary, or you have to go through and find a weapon on the ground. Totally up to you there, but definitely keep that in mind. As far as the secondary goes, I really haven't been using these all that much. I'd much rather get that second loadout or pick up a weapon off the ground than have to rely on a pistol. I've been messing around with the Grakova as a secondary because it's kind of like a pocket SMG. On this, I had recoil springs, the ergonomic grip, extended mag 1, reinforced barrel, and the suppressor. But like I said, I'm truly not using this all that much. It's just kind of there because I have to have it on the setup, right? Our main focus here though is the primary, and in this case I got the GPR 91. This thing is a crazy good rifle. It is aggressive and it's versatile and a pretty quick TTK as well. So with gunfighter on here, we can spam attachments. For an optic, I like the Jason Armory 2 times and the Willis 3 times as my 2 best mid to long range optics. These are very similar to like a VOK 3 times or an Axial Arms 3 times from Warzone 1. They are super clean. You can go through and even customize the reticle if you want. There's some pretty good ones here between zombies and multiplayer that are like T-pose-esque in several ways. Like if you go all the way through on zombies, you get some pretty good ones too. So definitely worth investing in that in my opinion. Suppressor, yet again, reinforced barrel as well for the better range and velocity. Vertical foregrip in this case for the straight up better horizontal control. Gonna make the weapon deadly accurate, laser accurate. You're gonna be frying with that on there. Extended mag 2 works great here, 60 rounder. Works fine for all squad sizes, right? Ergonomic grip, not super necessary on a rifle like this, but if you can get a better ADS speed, why not? 215 for a rifle that's got a 60 rounder on it, like that's a nice combination for sure. I also go for the balanced stock on here for all the movement benefits like before, just really adds in some versatility. Then I liked recoil springs here. You could go for overpressured and get a 1051 velo, but honestly, 876 works, and it's laser accurate with recoil springs on there too, but you can mix and match, see if you like the better velo on there more. But regardless, the GPR 91 is surprisingly good. Following that, we've got the DM10, definitely the highest skill gap weapon on the list here today, but from our early testing in game and seeing this thing being used a ton, if you are good with semi-auto guns, you're gonna be frying with the DM10 just across the board. I don't know why it's so delayed to change the overall look of the weapon, but here initially, again, gunfighters, we got a ton of attachments, wheelless 3 times in this case, but as always with optics, if you have a preference, go for that, go for whatever you're gonna be the most comfortable with. Suppressor, yet again, keeping us off the radar. Reinforced barrel here, pretty consistent with good velocity, good range increases, 35-meter effective damage range, up over 1,000 velo too, which is nice. We got the precision handguard on here, so better horizontal control when you are spraying. If there's any horizontal bounce, this basically eliminates that, but then also better idle sway. That's super important for a semi-auto gun like this. It's going to allow your recentering and your spamming to be more accurate as you are going through and taking out enemies. Extended mag 2 gives us a 30 round here, so that works just fine. Ergonomic grip, again, not super necessary. Like ADS speed benefits are nice. We have the attachment, might as well use it on there. Balance stock, yet again, for more movement, just making this thing more versatile. Then I actually went for rapid fire, and I do this just because even with rapid fire, we're at a 1062 velo. This doesn't end up hurting it according to the stats here. Even if it did, I'd still probably run it just because I want that fastest TTK possible with a weapon like this. So I want to be able to spam it as fast as I possibly can, and it ends up working really, really well. So really like the feel of that. And in general, the DM10, a little bit higher skill gap as mentioned because it is semi-auto, but man, does it fry. And then lastly here, we've got the XMG LMG, another one that I didn't really expect to be in the conversation right away on day one, but for an LMG, it's decently aggressive and it packs a punch. Whether you're fighting, later close range, some mid range, some long range, this thing's gonna be solid. This build is more recoil based with 8 attachments on it. Again, I go for the Willis, or you could switch out to the Jason Armory 2 times, totally preference as always. I've actually been running the compensator on this one, although you could absolutely still run a suppressor instead. The recoil control is not gonna be as good, but you will be a little bit more stealthy there. Totally up to you though, but I like the benefits of compensator. I felt like I was frying with this thing on there, stacking it on top of some other stuff. Reinforced barrel, range and velocity benefits, of course. Ranger foregrip in this case, typically, vertical foregrip would just be the ideal go-to. Horizontal control, but it's an LMG. I'd like to at least be a little bit aggressive with it, and when we stack this on there, we get some sprinting movement speed, which is a nice added benefit. I actually go for fast mag 1 in this case. It's still a 75 round mag. You get a quicker reload there. You could not run a mag here if you didn't want to. 150 is just overkill in my opinion with like extended mag 1, and I kind of like the quicker reload here for sure. Even though you're going to reload a little bit more often, this is still feeling really, really good. So fast mag 1 on there is pretty solid in my opinion. Ergonomic rear grip, yet again, mainly just for the better ADS, but it's nice to have the slide to fire, dive to fire speeds on there too. Balance stock, yet again for movement, and then also overpressured in this case too. You could also go for recoil springs. You'll have an 858 velo, but I like the 1000 velo on there. It feels great for the long range, and it's already so easy to use. You don't necessarily have to have recoil springs, but it's an option as well if you want to just be an absolute laser beam in general. But XMG as an LMG is honestly a ton of fun and really strong. Also, I wanted to talk one bonus setup here that I'm still kind of testing around with, and that is the Marine SP shotgun here. Gumi was talking about this. He of course is the shotgun guru over on Twitter, and he was talking about how good the 2-shot range potential is with this thing. Shotguns can one-shot within their max damage range if you get all headshots, which is viable with this, but the 2-shot range is actually pretty forgiving. This is actually a tac stance build, not one that you typically see used a ton, but in this particular case, it's actually very, very strong. So that tac laser on there will give us that tac stance ability, of course. Rapid fire on here does hurt your range a little bit, but the 2-shot range is still very good. The 1-shot range is not all that much to begin with, 1.4 meters, whoop-de-doo. You have to be barrel stuffing if you want that 1-shot headshot to begin with, so that's not going to be a huge hindrance to the setup. I kind of gone back and forth between the balance stock and then also the quick draw stock for a better ADS, but the general movement benefits of the balance stock honestly feel pretty good in my opinion. Then reinforced barrel is better range and then also more ammo, which is super nice. And then full choke, hip fire spread, or modified choke with the ADS pellet spread, back and forth depending on, are you always going to be in that tac stance? Are you going to be hip firing some, depending on where you're going to be at, if you go back and forth, or if you're solely fighting in one area versus the other, you're going to want to adjust that that as needed. But yeah, honestly, the Marine SP is sneaky good as well. So some bonus setups in there, but that is generally the top 5 best loadouts you want to be running here in Black Ops 6 Warzone. Initially, like I said, as we continue to get more and more info on what exactly is working in certain ways, if there's any broken attachments or random setups, or as things get updated and adjusted in the coming days and weeks, I'll be covering more and more builds and loadouts here on the channel. So stay tuned for that alongside everything else going on in COD by hitting that subscribe button and turning on those post notifications. And if you enjoyed this video, a like rating on your way out would be seriously appreciated. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.